Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from beautiful Udaipur, Rajasthan, India. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to India. We got Kaustuba there in Mayapur, West Bengal. Me and Mara up here in Rajasthan. And I tell you, Kaustuba ji, we both have our live posse here. Say Harry Bowl, everybody. Harry Bowl! You can't even hear that, I don't think, but he got his. I will say, it wasn't even 8:30, and we had the craziest morning of our lives today. We went to Srinathji for Mangalartik. Now, you got to understand, Srinathji is the epicenter of Bhakti in, northern India. And it's a huge, it's the center. It's the what Mayapur is for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Nathdwar is for the Vallabha Sampradaya. And we went early. We're like, how are we going to do it where it's not so chaotic? Because so many pilgrims come. We said, we're going to go to Mangalartik. So we left at 4:30 in the morning, got on a bus. It was an easy in. It wasn't too chaotic. Usually it's like a war goes on.
You thrive on chaos. What are you talking about?
I do thrive on chaos usually. Yes. This was not so chaotic.
I said thrive on chaos. You can work the chaos. You've been doing it your whole life.
I usually work the chaos, come out on top. But I will say it was sweet with the Lord today. Then we packed it in. We did it quick. We had a quick darshan. It was very moving and very beautiful. And then we went to this ancient temple called Ekalingaji.
That one you see on the way?
Yes, it's an old Shiva compound.
Yeah.
But
compound.
We missed the darshan by a half hour. So we're like, okay, we're just going to go home on these back roads. We went to this incredible, what was it called? Shahasra Bahu. And that was the one. It was invaders came and wrecked this place. And it was like this beautiful ancient UNESCO World Heritage Site. Like every angle of it this is where you should do your yoga poses, for your photo shoot. It was one of those incredibly carved, works of art, like a monument. And and then we got home by 9 o'clock for breakfast. Then, I'm sorry, I'm keeping going with this. Then we went, they're doing construction at Jagadish this morning, so we couldn't really get in there without just things falling on our head. So we went to the next door. Now there's another great temple next door, Bunki Bihari. And I tell you, we've made so many friends from Kirtan with the local people. When we started our Kirtan over there, we just had a whole bunch of people come over there with us. And we just started to have massive kirtans all morning, dancing, singing. Then they'd take the drum, they'd dance and sing. Then we dance and sing, and it just never ends. And they do this, how we do at the end of we do the Prema Davani prayers. Pranam ki jai, my Pranam ki jai. They do those Prema Davani. It never ends. It ends up into a new song. Okay. It goes right into a new song. Every time we try to leave, it's like Krishna Kanaya Lalaki Jaya Krishna Kanaya.
Is that the temple where they have the Sri Vallabhacharya Paduka?
Vallabhacharya Paduka. If they do, I don't know about it.
Okay.
If they do, I don't know about it.
His shoes.
No, there's Bunki Bihari. Then we had this other beautiful temple, and we did a little satsang called. That temple was called Jagdish Siromani, and it was this Radha Krishna temple. It was very, very, very nice. There are a lot of ancient temples here, actually, and they're just sort of like hidden away. Really nice. And how was your day?
We also had a lovely morning. We took a nice, long, beautiful walk around Navadweep, saw the elephants walking by. Oh, beautiful elephants. And then we got on a little boat and crossed the Jalangi River. And went to the home of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And
nice. That's a nice little trip.
Oh, yeah. And we discussed him and sang some of his songs, discussed his songs. I think we went, it was nice, right? We went deep into it. Went up into his room, spent some time talking to some people there. and came on back. I got invited out for a special lunch today. Some nice devotees invited us over.
Special lunch.
And came back, just took care of some things, and then hit the Ganga. I just got out of the Ganga right now and just came right
Got out
over.
of the Ganga. What a way to live, huh? Bathing in the Ganga on a regular basis. We had a cow try to come on our bus, and that never happens at home. That never happened to be at home.
We had an elephant try to come on
regular basis around here. The cow tried to come on, followed us for like a kilometer.
That means you're supposed to take it back to Super Soul Farm.
Maybe
find a way.
Maybe that was what should have happened. Anyway, it's our last day. We're leaving tomorrow. It's gonna be a travel day. There's no show. Leaving for Rishikesh. Excited to bathe in the Ganga. We got this great hotel. You know the deal in Namami on the Ganga. It's beautiful. It's got its own bathing part. You're not caught up in the cacophony, which is Rishikesh. And Rishikesh attracts a lot of like sort of searchers who end up just sort of sitting around and smoking clove cigarettes. And it becomes like this. Serious. That's what it becomes.
Kind of a hippie scene.
It's got a little bit of a hippie twist to it.
Okay.
I think because the Beatles went there, and but it's actually a holy city, very holy city. And Ram and Lakshman went there. It's not just like the Beatles went there. It's not like Yogananda went there. It's like Ram and Lakshman went there. It's a special city. So looking forward to that. We actually get really deep there. And then next stop after that is Govardhan. And we are finishing up, we're in Navaratri. It is festival time. And a big part of our group wants to stay up late tonight. I'm like, I sort of wind down. I wind down. I'm a winder. I'm old.
Come on, you're a party guy.
Like, no, we're going out because there's a party from 9 to midnight. And it is Navaratri Garba dance party. And people lose their minds. And it's huge here, especially all the Gujaratis come. And
I think you go to bed, Mara can go out to the party.
Once the Mara dance, those Garba dance. They say that's where everybody meets their husbands in their Garba dancing. Yep. First person you just hit with the sticks, that's your husband.
Okay.
It's like a stick. It's a beautiful. I've ever gone to one.
I mean, I've seen people do it. I don't think I've been to one. I don't know exactly what that means.
I went to one in New Jersey. When I was a brahmachari. I don't know why I was there.
I remember that story somehow, yeah.
And it was like, I was like, this is so cool because it was sort of like, it was fun. It was cultural.
It's kind of like square dancing with sticks in your hands and you kind of turn around. It's like
square dancing with sticks in your hands.
Sticks.
And it was like, I was like, this looks so much fun. I don't want to be a brahmachari anymore. I want to dance with women and sticks.
That was
that's what it sort of like was going through my mind the entire time. But it didn't seem like sexual or either. It was light and playful. That is the thing we were talking about today. Like, what is it about like what we've done with culture that everything is about me? If I'm playing piano, it's about me playing the piano. If I'm singing a song, it's about me. If I'm dancing, it's about me. Moving our body. Check me out.
Do that again, Ryan.
Me. Check me out. But when you see, we have these grown men dancing. You don't see that in America. You don't see grown men losing. I
saw that man with the turban.
Oh, the guy with the turban. That guy had no ego whatsoever. He was. It's as if we weren't even there. He was just dancing for the Lord in this really sort of clunky yet organized clunkiness. He just loved God. And then and then there's like the older guy. Did you see him? He's just rail thin, dancing like he's possessed by Jesus or Krishna or something, and he's like losing his mind. And he's so sweet, like anything. And there's a whole gang. Then there's young ripped guy come in today with a gold tiger's tooth around his neck and like a tight polo shirt and like nice designer jeans. He almost looked like a bully, like he was going to come in to bully us. He sat down, he takes the mridanga, and he starts leading Bunky Bihari Lal, my favorite song. It was incredible.
Nice.
It's people, and they're just a bunch of men dancing with men. There's nothing weird about it. It's all like in the States, it'd be like,
why would there be something weird about it, Ragana?
Because everywhere else it's weird. A bunch of men don't like, and then they move away, and all the ladies come in to dance, and the ladies start taking over. Then there's this guy. I know if you saw him, you'd be like, "That's Raghunath's future." He's sort of like a little long white beard, little pot-bellied, another gold shark, another gold tiger claw around his neck.
Some pond in the mouth.
Tons of beads and big ruby earrings in his ears. That Ram.
That's it,
he's-
Mara. Just take that in, Mara. Just picture that, and then
That's
think
what
of
you're
the-
getting into, Mara. I saw my future in Ram Gopal today. Yeah,
Roganos, we got questions to
Q&A
take care of.
day.
I know
We
you're in
got
ecstasy,
Q.
but
You got Q's, we got A's.
all right. Who's
right.
coming? Are
What's
there
our list?
announcements? Mara,
Here?
Mara's got announcements.
Sure. We have back to recovery group meetings at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 today.
Okay.
And Nityananda Chandra has a shloka group at 10 a.m. And there's no show
Nice.
tomorrow. I think Raghu mentioned that.
Which we can't. But we try. All right, let's go on with our first question. Hey, we want to welcome everybody in the Facebook community. Welcome. We do this every day, study the Srimad Bhagavatam. Almost every day, we're both traveling in India. And so we're trying to make this work as much as possible. You can find us
So there's
anywhere
no show
that
tomorrow,
you get
though. That's one
podcasts.
announcement.
Yeah, we made that announcement. There's no show
did you?
tomorrow.
Okay.
There is a show the next day. It's going to be on my stories for those who are listening on Zoom. Otherwise, you can listen to it wherever you get podcasts.
Oh, so the timing is going to be on your stories?
Yeah, I put it on my stories. And where else we post it?
Telegram,
Patreon?
Discord, Patreon, yeah.
And the calendar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We got that.
Yeah, if you're on Patreon, you can subscribe to the Wisdom of the Sages calendar where we show what's going on. And it's a good way to stay updated.
All right, let's dive into these questions. Who's first?
Did you have anybody specific, Kastuba? Everybody's.
How about Tom?
All right, Thomas.
Tom Essig, bring him down. Tom Essig, you may know. He used to be a local. Then he moved to Butler, Pennsylvania, strangely enough, which is where Prabhupada first came. And
There he is.
he gets really close. He's here. He's been in India with me a million times. And before we go anywhere, we just want to give a shout out to Something Divine, which is a great film that Tom made. And it's going off to all these film festivals right now. Really excited about it.
It's very exciting. Howdy bowl, everyone. Howdy bowl.
Very well. Tom also did the chanting, the little thing you hear before the show every day. The Om
Yeah,
Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on. Tom made that for us. Thank you, Tom. That was a great
It's
day.
actually you and I together.
Yeah, that was great. If you ever want to know who's chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that's me and Tom. Also, yeah, and I want to say when you made that movie and we had a premiere at one of at this beautiful outdoor theater in upstate New York. I will say I'm a real cynic and skeptic when it comes to. I mean, I'm in the movie. A bunch of people I know are in the movie, and it's got a Krishna. It's about people just finding their truth and on their spiritual path. I was like, I better like this, and I will say I loved it. Great job.
Thank you. I really
Better,
appreciate
what were
it.
you going to do if you didn't like it? We're gonna.
I would have just been like, can we cut this out, please? But I don't know. But I do like it. It's great,
Okay.
and I'm hard to please. But I'm excited for all the festivals. He's got a simple question, but it's a deep question.
And it has to deal with the movie, and it's a simple question.
Oh.
What is transformation?
Good question. Good question. And
Transformation.
because we throw this word around a lot, especially in like yoga circles, transformative, transform your life, transform yourself. Come out and we're doing a yoga retreat. You'll transformative. I mean, how would you answer that question, Mr. Kastuba?
There's many ways you could answer that question. But the way I'd be, well, first of all, let me throw this out. Raghunath, what do you see as the symbol for transformation? If you had to make a logo or something, what would you come up
A
with
logo,
for
butterfly.
transformation? Yeah, that's
Butterfly.
Butterfly,
Boom.
right?
Metamorphosis. Ugly
There you go.
caterpillar, green
you and I-
blood, scared to touch them, goes in, goes inside, comes out something magical, magical colors, flutters,
You've given me
lands
more
on
than I
your
asked for.
nose,
Raghunath.
lands on what flowers? What?
You've given me more than I asked for.
Okay.
You're like a Sarabi cow.
Thank you.
Sarabi cows just give you what you asked for, though. But no,
I'm a
yeah,
cow
I
of
think
plenty, my friend.
yes, I think we think butterfly first. Something it becomes something very beautiful that's unexpected, even. And we could define transformation many different ways. The way that I would most commonly present it if I were asked that question, and it's something that I've discussed on the show before. But I would say that let's look to the Bhagavad Gita, and let's look at where the Bhagavad Gita is kind of saying, you know, this sometimes the Bhagavad Gita will call the Stita Dhiramuni, the sage of steady mind, right? That's what we're trying to transform towards. It's a very powerful platform if one can achieve it. It's a great life goal. That I take three things from the Bhagavad Gita, which I find repeated there again and again, and one of them is samatvam, which means even-mindedness. It means that currently most of us are very prone to be moved by the externals. If it's hot, we're complaining that it's hot. You know, if it's pleasant, we're like, oh my God, it's pleasant. This is the greatest thing. And then the next day it's raining. We're like, oh, it's raining.
I'm sort of like that, actually.
Yeah. And, you know, if someone's saying nice things about us, we're very happy.
Yeah.
If someone's saying things that are not nice about us, we can become very disturbed by it.
I talk about it all day long. What are they thinking? Who do they think they are?
Yeah, I mean, we can become very disturbed. And you know, in success or failure, can you keep an even mind? You know, that's you know, you give your best, but in the end, are the results really up to us? And then, so Krishna's asking Arjuna to become even-minded, and he's saying that such even-mindedness is called yoga. You know, samatvam yoga uchate, he says. So that's one. Three things. One is even-mindedness. Two is what they call samadarshana. This is so important that I can see past the external. So when I meet a human being, whatever race they're from, whatever tribe they're from, whatever sex or gender they may be, whether they're tall or short, whether they're attractive or not so attractive, I can see that there's a spark of spiritual energy within that body that's animating it, and that's the person. And the body that they're in is just a temporary circumstance that they're passing through very quickly. I realize also that I have been through similar bodies. I've been through the different sexes and genders. I've been tall, I've been short, I've been black, I've been white, I've been all these different things, even different species. And so that type of vision not only grants one tremendous peace of mind, but it also has social ramifications which are incredibly positive, that we can, you know, we live in a world, especially nowadays, we're seeing just how deep the hatred of tribal consciousness can go, and the atrocities that human beings are capable of inflicting upon one another when we're not able to actually see the true brotherhood, the true sisterhood that exists in us. So that samatvam, when we get there, we feel like I no longer have even one enemy in the world. I'm sorry, the samadarshana. I no longer have even one enemy in the world. I bear not one drop of animosity towards any living being. I may object to certain behavior, but I actually never object to the person behind it all. You know, they may be operating through a warped mind, but behind that warped mind, there's someone that I can love. So samatvam, even-mindedness, samadarshana, equal vision, seeing every living being equally on the spiritual level, and then antasukha, the conviction, and eventually the experience that happiness is something that lies within. It's not dependent on anything external. What that conviction does is it allows us to be happy under any circumstance, content under any circumstance, peaceful under any circumstance. And it allows us to not be in fear that I will lose the resources that I need to be happy. I must compete intensely. I must fight I must accumulate and hoard the resources so that I can be happy. No, I can be happy under any circumstances. And there's plenty of resources for us all, if we can all see that way. So these things will help one evolve towards a very peaceful mind. And evolution means the things that I just said right now, anyone listening right now may have said, yeah, I like those things. I would like to be like that. That makes a lot of sense to me. That means we understand it on the level of knowledge. But we have to, and this is where the transformation takes place, that it goes beyond just like, I think those are nice ideas, I think those are nice sentiments, I wish I was more like that, to the point where you actually feel them and see the world through that vision. Always. And we can call that not knowledge, but wisdom. And when one actually, through endeavor, through reflection, ultimately through grace, we can come to that place. And when we come to that place, then we actually have a peaceful mind that can be deeply absorbed in spirituality. So I think, to me, that's an important life's work. You know, that may take years and decades to get there, but that's what transformation would look like. When you meet a person that has those qualities, they're very special. They're the butterfly. You know, they're very beautiful people, and that's kind of a lot of what I see my current life's work is working towards that, because I have the conviction that when I get there, then I'll chant Krishna's name, and I'll feel it, and tears will well up in my eyes, and you know,
I'll be there for you.
I'll feel love. You'll be right there, Raga.
When you start crying, I'll hug you. When they well up.
Thank you, Raghunath. So that's I think that's one way we could find it. But Raghunath, you please share some ideas too.
You know, I think that's good. I don't think we need to keep going with this. Your answer is very complete, and you know, I could just like blah 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 my thing. But I will say that transformation can be the other way too, right? You can. It's not a one-way street. You can transform downward.
Yeah.
Right. That's also transforming. Right. You can keep bad association, get addicted to bad habits, get worse. They can you get, you know, do more and more things that complicate your life. You know, get sent to prison, join a gang in prison, shank somebody.
It's getting dark.
Yeah, it can get real dark. Transformation the other way is real problematic, and you can implicate yourself in lifetimes of bad karma. Sometimes you make such many bad choices. It's almost hard to see your way out of that. But yeah, it's a two-way street.
Back to the butterfly. Let's go back to the butterfly.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Thomas. I love you. And check out the movie when it comes around. We're going to let you know. Something Divine it's called.
Something Divine.
All right.
Not the body, not the mind.
Whose question? Oh, it's young Emmy. We got two kids on the tour. We call them the kids. One of them is Emmy. Emmy from Miami. She's just a kid. She's 21 years old.
Emmy. Oh, Emmy, we met before, right?
Yeah, we met at the Bhakti Center.
At the Bhakti Center?
How are you?
Yeah. Good. Great to see you again. Yo, that's right. That was at the Bhakti Center at the retreat that we did, not this past summer, but the one before, right? Yeah, or was it before that even? 2 years?
No, this year, 2023. No,
it's this year.
The recent one.
Okay.
In June. That's okay. Doesn't matter.
No, it's great to see you.
It was Rathi
from Miami or something, right?
Yeah,
from Miami. Yeah,
from Miami. She's Colombian.
That's
from
so
Miami.
Great. That's so
she's
great
got a good
that
attitude. This woman. With this woman.
That pilgrimage. Wonderful. I'm so happy. My heart is just it's just jumping for joy right now seeing you there.
How's your experience going so far?
I can't even really put it into words. Yeah, I've been so happy. I've been looking forward to this trip for the whole year, and it's like to actually be here. I just have to keep pinching myself. Really, everything seems so surreal, and then the energy here is you really feel it like deep within. It's
awesome.
As you know, it's unexplainable, really.
What about a crazy morning? What do you think about that?
I loved it. I love seeing and feeling the energy of all the people, just how devotional they are. Like I've never experienced something like that. Like I was raised Catholic, but I've never felt that feeling of just like being so desperate to see the Lord. Like,
you know, I love Catholicism. It's just not that much fun. It's just not fun.
Yeah, it's a fun culture.
It's a fun culture. Yeah, kids running around, people dancing, people like dressed in straight business suits just coming and dancing their heart out. I never saw that ever in a Catholic church. And I think it's a spiritual, it's just, here's the deal. We have to be grave. Gravity is important in spiritual practice, but so is joy. We're joyous beings. Let's have some fun. Anyway, what's your question, dear?
So, I guess when I return home, I have to figure out my material life, and I'm at a crossroads, and I'm definitely not thinking about it at all as I'm here, because I'm just so in the moment, which is not common for me. And so I guess my question regards how I could keep the peace that I feel within while I'm here, how I can keep it as I'm trying to navigate through my material life back home.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because here you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about parking the car, gas for your car, going to work. You're just sort of like, and today's magical tour is going to be to the Banki Bihari temple. I'll take a shot at this first, Kastuba.
Okay.
It has to do a lot with why we started this podcast. I know I would travel a lot and I'd teach like sometimes 6 workshops a weekend. I'm traveling. And, I'd always start even a yoga class, if not a satsang, just all about Harikatha, Krishna stories and philosophy. And so many people were eager to hear it. And they'd be after class, oh, that was a great class. That makes so much sense. I'm going through so much hell right now. This was great. But it fades. And you can't keep that information with you. You have to hear information on a regular basis. And it's a big reason why we started this podcast, is so we can hear every day. Now, I'm not saying hear from us necessarily, but if you hear wisdom literature on a regular basis, especially on a unique path, we're on a particular path, it starts to change the way we react to problems. It starts to change the way we react to forks in the road. Some people, and I can relate to this. When I say some people, I'm saying me included, have a history of when things go wrong, instead of making the right choice, we make the wrong choice. It's like, wait a second, that didn't work out, so I'm going to make a bad choice. It should be things don't work out, I'm going to make a better choice. But sometimes we're programmed to make the wrong choice again and again, like a wheel getting caught in a rut. It just can't get out of the rut of bad choices. We become like bad choice machines. And we sometimes have to go outside of ourselves, to a therapist, to a friend, to our parents, and what am I doing? And they're saying, why are you doing the same things again and again? And so what happens is, by hearing wisdom literature on a regular basis, when you come to those forks and you want to react with the bad choices, it helps make you, well, this isn't what I usually choose, but I'm going to do this anyway. It just makes sense. It makes better sense. So that helps. That's my first thing. Hear transcendental literature and transcendental sound on a regular basis. And at regular basis means every day. What else, Kastuba? What do you want to add to that?
How old is Emmy? Is that rude for me to ask?
21 years old. 21 years
Okay,
young.
21. That's right when you and I got into this, Raghunath. Right?
Yeah. I went to
That's
India
how
when I
old
was
we were.
22. Beat me by a year, punk. And she's a little more advanced than me, too.
I mean, I don't know all the details in your life, but something's telling me somehow I'm feeling like there's some freedom in your life at this point. You're not too committed. Would that be a safe assumption?
Yeah, but it sort of scares me because it's like I could really do whatever I want, and that's the problem of having
but
so much choice. There's more freedom in having less choice sometimes.
okay.
Yep, I get that.
Then just do whatever Raghunath says.
Yeah, how about that? That'll make it real easy.
But in one sense, it's true.
No more choices.
Limit your choices. Yeah, everything Raghunath is saying is true. You gotta, there's got to be regularity in your, maybe you've seen, now that you've been to Varanasi and you've been to Udaipur and you've been to Natwar, have you seen any signs in the temples that say no photography? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a common thing to say. And so sometimes when we were your age and some of the people that we really admire, they were taking us around to these places, just like you right now. People were taking us around, and then they would comment on them and say, "Yeah, we're not allowed to take photographs in here, everybody." But the camera's not allowed. But that's okay, because what's more important is that you take a photograph in your heart, right? You want to. You like that?
You're sweet man.
That touch you
sweet
right
man.
there?
You're a sweet man.
Okay, well, that's just what I heard, and so it's a fact. You need, take through this experience, especially by the time you get to Vrindavan, forget about it. But take these images in your mind, these memories, and you want to store them in you and never forget them. So it kind of means that you're going to frame them in your mind or in your heart so that they don't just dissipate and disappear. And then you hold those ideas very sacred. This means a lot to me. It always will mean a lot to me. I want these visions and these memories. I want to start to build my life around them. I found something beautiful and something meaningful. Let me not let that just slip through my fingers, but let me hold on to it. And all the things Raghunath was saying are kind of ways of holding on to it. But let's go ahead and set that intention really clear, right? The beauty that I just saw in the devotees dancing together in the kirtan in the temple before Lord Krishna and Radha. Oh, finally, I had a vision of what the spiritual world is. Beautiful harmony with selflessness, all connected with the divine root of all of the universe. I was there. Let me never forget I was there. And let me try to remember the taste of the beauty of that moment. And then you have something that you're hanging on to something, and you're wanting to always get back to something. That means, okay, if that was the special beauty that I saw in life, then let me read the Krishna book, which is going to bring me back there and inform me more deeply about that. Let me take part in kirtan, which will bring me back there and inform that experience still more. And more than anything, it's the people that you hang out with. And that may be challenging. You're from Miami, right? Is that right? Yeah, we got to put you together with Yogi Charu because he's the best. And Raghunath, why don't you make sure that this connection takes place, so that she has some good sangha when she goes back down there.
All right.
And also, like the guy you're sitting next to right now, you're he's doing something I assume you feel he's doing something very special for you. He's opening up a bit of a magic world for you that you wouldn't have experienced without him taking you by the hand and bringing you there. So don't forget, he can show you a lot more magic. And there you, yeah. So that's what Raghunath and I, we just, when we were your age, the people that were showing us the magic, we said, we're sticking with these people. There's something here. This is a better way of life. This is making me a better person. Stick close to those people that are opening up those doors. And you'll go through some ups and downs. You'll go through some challenge. You might get a bit in the rut of the world a little bit. You reach for this. You remember this. Learn a few shlokas. Right, Raghunath can help you with that. Pick a few shlokas, memorize the Sanskrit, chant them in your mind. When you're sitting and you feel yourself in that rut, then you just begin to chant those mantras. Remember the holy places that you've been, and you go back. And then the more that you do that over time, the more that you're kind of there all the time. You're kind of there all the time. Or you can get back easier. And you're going back more often. And gradually, step by step, we live in that holy dham. We live in the holy place, even when we're not there, because when you're remembering Krishna, you're there.
That's beautiful. You're beautiful. Good answer. Okay. I like the idea what you said too, that you're not just capture it in your heart, write it down. Write down your experience. Yeah. What was it? Okay, here's what I did today. It's whatever, February. What month is it? October 8th. Whatever, 18th. Here's what I did today. And then we met this person, and then we danced, and it was crazy.
Got on the bus.
And I felt like this, and this, I thought about this, and this made me think differently like that. And then you can reflect and, and go deeper into those things. And you won't regret it when you're 20 years into this and you're thinking back to, it's hard to believe that you're going to be 42 someday. You're going to look back. You're going to look back and you go, wow, I remember that. I remember what I was going through. I remember that experience. It means so much to me now. And, these are great. They stay solidified in your mind.
Yeah, I think for Raghunath, especially for you, because like you kind of went to Vrindavan and then kind of dove into bhakti after that, in a sense.
Yeah.
I kind of dove into bhakti and then I went to India. but your trip to India, that was the game changer for you, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it all made sense then. Outside of that context, Krishna Bhakti just seems sort of peculiar and culty. And then when you see it within the context of what is India, you're like, oh, I get it. Now it makes sense. It's really, this is a new normal. Yeah.
So,
it's for everybody.
Yeah, don't. I think people nowadays have a lot of trouble committing to something, but don't spend your whole life waiting to commit to something. If you see something beautiful and something that makes a lot of sense and something that makes people better people and something that's making you a better person, don't be afraid to say, I'm going to dig in. I'm going to start to sacrifice something for this. Sacrifice time, sacrifice energy, once you identify. That was the thing, Raghunath, and for the two of us, the people that became our exemplars, we became so inspired by them that we just both said, this is my life now. I'm going for it. And once you go for it, that's liberation, right? Once you say, okay, I'm committing to this. This is really, if we never commit, we never really get the results. But if you say, okay, this is making a lot of sense, I'm going for it. And when you're 21, you can do that. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you did ask.
You don't have to change your life in any way. You just engage everything that you do that you're great at in a spiritual way. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Or you could totally change it.
What do you mean?
You said you don't have to change your life. I said, well, you could. You could totally turn it upside down if you want.
Well, what I'm saying is, suppose you're an artist. You don't have to stop doing art. You just do spiritual art. Suppose you're a musician. What do you do? What are you good at?
What do you do?
I don't know if I'm good at anything, but
well, then get something.
I like to
get
do
good at
other
something.
things. Okay. So this is sort of like part of the dilemma too. So I like many things, and so that's beautiful, but also means that I have a lot of distractions, and there's many paths that I get interested in, and I'm like too curious. Like,
okay, I see what you're saying. Too many choices.
The cat.
Yeah, too many choices again. Okay, why don't you just pick a couple things? Don't pick the things that are going to divert you from your spiritual life. Pick the things that are going to enhance your spiritual life. Right? There's probably a lot of things, but once you say I'm on a spiritual path, that's going to cut out. Like, I'm going to stop going to the horse races now. I'm going to stop working on my monster truck. You don't have to do those things anymore. That's not an issue either. That's not an issue. Yeah. Do things that are going to be good for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. Love having you here, Emmy. Hope that was good.
I'm so happy to see you, Emmy. I really am.
She's got good energy, good attitude. I'm going to adopt her. All right, Bo.
Yeah, move to Super Soul Farm. There you go.
Yeah, come stay with us at Super Soul. We'll take you in. Put you to work. We'll cut out all your options. I got so many things to do. No, you don't. You just got to dig holes today.
I think Ryan's next, Ruggo.
What's that?
I think Ryan is next.
Oh, Ryan. He's great. I love him. Come here, Ryan. Hi there, Bo. Ryan. This guy he's sort of like one of those guys you see. He's sort of like naturally spiritual. Like, no, I'm serious. No, I like you for that, but I also don't like you for that because it takes a lot of work for me to be nice. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what my question's about. So perfect.
Okay.
Well, and by the way, I want to take something back today. When I talked about that guy Gopal that came in the temple and he had the tight shirt on, the tight pants, and I was like, he's looked like a bully coming in there, but he was actually a great soul. I only say that because, I'm trained to, when a man walks in the room, I size up every man. What happens if this guy goes crazy? Every person that walks in a room, how would I submit this person? And he came in, he's looking buff. Huh?
That hasn't always been your consciousness.
It happened a lot since jujitsu,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You start thinking, well, previously it was, how can I run for my life? After jujitsu, it was like, how can I submit this person? He wants to try. So I sized up Gopal, but he turned out to be a saint. Now I'm with a guy who's sort of saintly. I don't even know how to interpret it. Like he doesn't have much of an ego, this guy. He's already sort of floating around.
Well, Haribo Kostuba.
Hey, great to
Good
see
to
you,
see-
Ryan. I
good
feel
to
like
see
you're a
you
buddy already.
again.
You're the guy.
Absolutely. No, that was a great intro because my question is about what's going on behind the scenes.
What's going on behind the scenes?
Here it comes.
Yeah, so amazing experience being here on pilgrimage with everyone, and yeah, as Emmy and everyone else is saying, just getting to experience the bhakti firsthand is just, I think someone a few days ago on the podcast, you said drinking from a fire hose, and it kind of feels like that, where yeah, just want to be awake and present at every moment, and at the same time, at the end of the day, I can't even remember how the day began. So
Wow.
yeah, seeing like elderly men dancing out of their minds this morning, yeah, is beautiful. But I know my question is that sometimes within myself, and I feel it definitely in those moments of more exhaustion, I just notice old patterns of cynicism, skepticism, kind of like focusing on faults and negativity, and I recognize it. Eventually, I recognize it happening, and it's like, oh, this is not how I want to be. But yeah, just that kind of tendency to be cynical, especially about like the religion, kind of the different practices or rules in particular, I think. But yeah, so I noticed that, and which is good, and I know it's some layer of my ego, my old identity, that's kind of trying to, have this armor, protect something in some way. So just the question of any wisdom that you both could share on how to kind of move through those layers of mind and sort of ego just a bit more gracefully, to be fully present.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
I just want to be clear. You're saying that your mind kind of can drift back towards certain patterns of skepticism.
Exactly.
Skepticism in terms of the practice itself, or like cynicism towards other people?
Both. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good question.
Yeah.
Would you like to?
Yeah, just kind of waves of negativity, of like,
Yeah.
oh, like, why would they do that? Oh, this is like silly. This doesn't, and
Yeah,
it
yeah, I get it.
can manifest in different ways, and it's just like not helpful. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna take a jab at this guy. First
Go.
of all, I thought you were much more saintly than you are after hearing that question. I'm just kidding. He is very saintly. And I think it's actually, I'm the same way. I was so, I don't know if I'm going to call it cynical, although I was a little cynical too. I had a twist.
You were cynical, Raghunath, in your
I was
early
cynical. I was very cynical, but I was also discerning. And I think the only way to make advancement is saying, why? And that's what I did. I just said, why? Why you got to wear a robe? I can't be spiritual with a robe, without a robe on. Why do I got to shave my head? Why a ponytail here? Why not somewhere else? Why do I have to do it because he's doing it? Oh, your ponytail thing should only be like the size of a quarter. Why? Does that make me a bad person if I have a bigger ponytail thing? You know what I'm talking about? This is like, these are the things, you got to sleep with your head not facing north. Why? I'm going to go to hell if I sleep with my head that way. And I would constantly question every little, and the Vedic system has millions of details. You're not going to hear in a lot of spiritual practices, because they get into all the subtleties and auspicious this and inauspicious that. And I just got, and you have to start thinking through a new lens, like, your body has fire in it. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? It's got fire in it. And, it doesn't. It's just Anyway, it's one thing after another that almost it appeared to trip me up. And there's a natural thing when a person also has to give up a drug, like a heavy drug, like heroin. They go through withdrawals and they'll fight it and they'll get angry and they'll lose their cool and they'll flip a table. Why? Because they don't want to give up what they're attached to. So a part of my discernment was a very healthy thing to say, why? And I still think, and I still hold on to that. And because you have to do that. You have to do that to move forward in your spiritual life. But you got to be careful. It's coming from that real, genuine reason to make advancement and not just want an easy way out. And if you can do that, there's a difference between like discernment because I want to evolve and discernment because I'm lazy and stubborn and cynical and just and I don't want to give up sense gratification. So that's another thing. If we don't, I will do anything except give up sense gratification. I'll think of thousands of ways. And if you want to forget Krishna, he can make an arrangement that you forget about him, you know? But I don't think you're like that. I think you might have cynicism. You might have cynicism. It's natural. We grew up in a cynical world. Our comedy is cynical. Our television, our movies are cynical. The characters that we portray that we look up to are all cynical. They're funny. They're sort of cool. And so it's naturally rubs off on us. Maybe our family was like that, but in the same way, we have to learn when to. Okay, that's not going to serve me on this path any longer. And then if you find people that you want to, you know what, I want to be what I want to have what that person has, and we have teachers in our life that we can look up to, then it helps us move forward on the path. They've transformed. They've become different people, you know. And so that will lift us when the cynicism is getting too powerful. Does that make sense? What do you think, Kostu?
I like that. I was thinking it was some time back that we had a nugget from Henry David Thoreau.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember the exact how to phrase it. Maybe someone on the chat board can come up with it, but more or less what it was saying was to make a path in the forest. It doesn't happen just by walking through one time, but it's repeatedly walking on that same path again and again and again that a path develops, a clearing and a clear path stays, you know. And similarly, it's not by thinking a thought one time that you develop a path in your mind, but you have to come there again and again and again and again. By our choosing to engage in certain healthy thoughts and doing them again and again. And that's why so much of yoga or sadhana has to do with you're doing the same thing at the same time every day, again and again and again, because that's a way of creating that path in the mind. And so, as Raghunath's saying, we've grown up in an age of hypocrisy and in an age of media wherein the hero is always portrayed as the person that is cynical, justifiably because of all the hypocrisy. And so we get trained to feel good when we're in that role, and it doesn't always serve us so well. And so when we see something and we can kind of taste its realness and its authenticity and its value, then we may find our mind even rebelling against it. And so then you have to remind yourself, why does this make sense to me? Why is it appealing to me? And if doubts are raising up, then you have to bring those doubts up and address them.
I like that. Bring those doubts up and address them.
Yeah. And then that, you know what that does? It makes an even deeper path. You know, like that's like even because there's more friction. You know, that increased friction kind of digs the path a little deeper, and then you, through further reflection on that, it starts to become a clearing, and that you can move through it smoothly. You know, so that takes repetition, and that takes inquiry. These you know, you go to Bhagavad Gita, it's an encouraging one. The whole Bhagavad Gita is just Arjuna saying, I've got all kind of doubts. I got all kind of questions. some of these things, it seems like the path of Dharma that I'm supposed to be doing, I've got serious questions about it. I need to have them answered. Krishna is saying, Tadvati pranipatena paripashnena sevya, upadekshanti te gyanam gyaninas tattvadarshana. Go and ask the questions. Do it in the right mood. Do it with the right respect. Do it in a mood of service. Do it in sincere inquiry. That'll serve you so well in dealing with those mental loops. But we really what I'm about to say to many people in our super hypercritical world is they're going to say, oh, that's gaslighting, or that's but we really have to learn how to question respectfully. We were talking earlier in the week, was it this week, or I guess it was last week, maybe it was this week, I don't know, I'm losing track. We had one episode called Keep It Sacred, right? Bhakti is so much about what you make sacred in your life, and then how you respond to it with a mood of with that mood of devotion towards what's sacred. When we were at Bhakti, we went to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. So Bhaktivinoda was this, we've spoken a little bit about him before, but super Bhakti Renaissance man, not only like a influential leader in society, but not only like an incredibly powerful like missionary, but a songwriter and an author, and he so much, just incredible. And we were reading one of his songs, the song Sudha Bhakita Charanare. This song, it's a simple song where he's just like drawing attention to what's important. He's saying that, there are different yoga paths and there are different attitudes in those paths, but what I find is that connecting deeply and respectfully with pure devotees, that, honoring them, honoring kirtan in the right mood, honoring the holy days in the right mood, honoring the holy places in the right mood, that this is the yoga that's going back to transformation, that I feel transformation when I practice it. And then he begins to share some of his own personal kind of ecstasies. One day I was doing my devotional activities in my house, and my whole house turned into Goloka Vrindavan. So sometimes I taste the Charnamrita, the water that's bathed the deity of Krishna, and when I drink it, I see the celestial Ganges, and my joy knows no bounds. He's saying that this is real, and you can feel it if you stick with it. But if we just have to approach it with the right sentiments, and it opens up. So even your own question, it was in the right mood and with the right sentiments. If you just continue like that, you'll find that you'll draw new, firm, clear paths in your mind, and you'll be able to walk those paths, and your mind will start to ease up. You'll start to be more in control, and your mind will begin to be like, okay, I accept, and then your path becomes smooth.
Yeah, and some of those knots will be tighter than other knots. Like, I can't, and that's okay. You can even just, as long as you're moving forward, say, you know what, I don't get this, but I'm just going to put it in my pocket for a while, and maybe it'll make sense somewhere down the line. But I'm going to just move forward anyway, not blindly, because there's so many other things that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. But this 1 out of 10 doesn't make sense. I'll hold on to that, and I'll move forward. And then all of a sudden you'll find, I know now north of 50, so many of the things I didn't quite get when I was 22 makes sense now. It's just from a different vantage point. Now
Sure.
I get what they meant by that. Now I understand that.
I feel like that happening every day sometimes, it's just like things that I've been thinking about and practicing and kind of invested in for decades, they click.
And I'm glad I went forward too, I'm glad I said, man, that's weird, I'm going to quit, because this has offered me so much. It's such a game changer in my life, and it's enhanced my life so much. I'm saying that, I'm saying that, like, you might be, I'm just saying you might be more advanced than me, because I don't know where you were in your last life, but in this life, at least, I'm not trying to sell you a car that has no engine. I can speak from my own experience. Everything I've done in bhakti and applied to my life has changed my life for the better, and I'm grateful for it. And I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd immediately if the car didn't start and didn't turn over, I would just be like, I'm going to find a new car. The only reason why I'm still here because it adds so much joy, thoughtfulness, depth of philosophy, and just at one point it just seemed okay. This is really foreign. I'm doing a really foreign practice, and I don't know how I fit into this foreignness of it, and I'd always have to sort of adapt to it. Now I just feel like this is just so who I am, and it just makes so much sense.
Nice.
Anyway,
Richard
guy,
from
this guy.
Virginia, he shared that Thoreau quote.
Okay,
It's
that's on the board.
a single footstep will not make a path on the earth.
Oh,
So a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind.
that's
make
why
a deep-
Mara handed me the phone. Okay, I was like, why is she giving me the phone right now?
But Raghunath, you're interrupting the very reason why she handed you the phone. Right now.
Okay, tell me. I thought you were done. Go.
Let me sorry.
Single wrinkle.
A single footstep will not make a path on the earth. So a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep physical path, we walk again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over the kind of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives.
Ooh,
Right there. I like
every
that.
day with Thoreau. Hare Krishna. All right, thanks so much. Thanks so
Thank
much,
you,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Glad you're on this trip. You're an asset to this community, an asset to the buoyancy of this, making this trip so fun and
Buoyancy.
deep. Buoyancy. It's a good word. And speaking of buoyancy, I'm gonna bounce
What's
right
that
out of here.
buoyant
Thank
music?
you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Haribo. All right, you guys,
There.
guess what? That's our show for today. No show tomorrow. Hate to do it, but we're on a travel day all day long, heading up to Dare Dune. Rishikesh. Well, that's where you fly into Dare Dune.
You know
Beatles
who
wrote a
was
song
in Dare
called
Dune?
Who's in Dare Dune?
The Pandavas. That's where they used to go to train up during the summer.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
No.
It's the Pandavas. No.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you're listening to us on Facebook, hey, every day we do this. Download us wherever. Follow us, download us, like us, subscribe to us, comment on us if they're good. I guess you can comment if it's bad. That's okay.
To this day, it's still like the army base they're doing.
Yeah. Yes, it is. The Indian military.